Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Formbook. It's a York Ebor Festival preview, looking ahead to all the action on the Knavesmire. 4 days of fabulous action to enjoy, and you can watch it all on Racing TV. Yes, as mentioned, watch every race from the Sky Bet Ebor Festival live on Racing TV. Plenty to enjoy this week. The action gets underway tomorrow, Wednesday. We're recording this on Tuesday morning, so we've got the decks for both Wednesday and Thursday's action. Looking back on Goodwood, we had 4 winners, including the likes of Dubai Treasure and Scandinavia. We did well on that occasion. Hopefully we can continue that form. Tabiti as well was a nice winner for us, but fingers crossed we can carry that forward into York on the latest edition of the Formbook. Let's have a brief look then at this main selection. So just 8 for you here. First one is 150 tomorrow. It's Vintageclar. Been a big fan of this horse for a very, very long time. And finally, deservedly got the head in front here in those all too familiar silks at the Shergold Cup. Good ride as well it was from Bowman. Got this horse home, and I think there's plenty more to come still. This is his usual colours. Look forward to seeing him back in those clarets tomorrow. Son of Ardad, he's a 6-year-old now. Scored by a length last time out. He's gone up £4, but obviously Ethan Tyndall takes £7 off, so he negates that rise. And I just think now he's got his head in front, there could be a fair bit more to come from Vintageclar. Next horse runs in the superlative, ran in the superlative, runs in the Acom. Now, for many, it looks as if the favourite in that Godolphin have got a red-hot distant storm. He takes plenty of beating, you'd have to think, for William Buick on the back of a good win over Constitution River last time out at Newmarket. That horse has franked the form since. For me, though, I think Italy's going to serve it up to him. Here he is in the superlative. Saba Desert wins on this occasion. Just look at him. Big, scopy individual. He got carried across the track. It was all a bit of a mess on the July course. I think he'll strip a lot fitter for this experience. And if he can keep straight on a galloping track, I think there could be stacks more to come from this guy. He beat, obviously, the secret adversary who did the form plenty of favours with an impressive win in Ireland a couple of weeks back. So that looks strong. I just think there could be more to come. Don't get me wrong, Saba Desert did it nicely, but I do think there's more to come from Italy. And whilst I respect the favourite, I just think he makes a pin at the prices at 15 to 8. Feature race, of course, is the Jumpmont. We'll talk about that next. It's a rematch between Ombudsman and, of course, Delacroix. Here is the Eclipse. Here's Delacroix staying on like a train on the outside. Ombudsman, he got his own way here. Buick probably thought the job was done. But Delacroix starts to get rolling under Ryan Moore, and the pair get up in the shadows of the post. What about this year's Renault? What about this time around? Well, I think he might do it again. The concern is he was a big drifter in the week. He drifted out to 9 to 1 with connections, well, with it being suggested on the exchanges that another horse was going to run instead of him from the Ballydor stable. He does line up and he gets that £7 again. That's £7. You can't highlight how important that's going to be for his chances. I also think he'll be better suited by York. I don't think he was at home at Sandown. I think this galloping track will help him. Ombudsman is going to be helped by, of course, this Andre Farb pacemaker that they're going to run. And he commands all sorts of respect. And there could still be more to come from him. He's progressing at a rate of knots. I do think the weight's a big factor. Dan on Diesel, a word on him. He, of course, comes into this having seen off Calandagan at Dubai. That was a good performance in the Shima Classic. Is the rest of his form strong enough, though? Yes, he's beaten the King George hero, but that was his return. You could argue that horses are always going to improve from their first run in Dubai. So it's fascinating to see, can the Japanese raider give them a big win here? See the fire. She's back on quick ground. Of course, she was third to Whirl in the Nassau. Just have a bit of a concern whether that race might have left a bit of a mark. It was tough enough, and she returns not that quick, but you've still got a 3-week gap. But that would be the only issue I'd have. Look, she's got an impressive win at York on her CV. She clearly relishes this ground. She'll be able to use her potent turn of foot. I still have my concerns. Darius is interesting in terms of just the form from Francis Henri Graffard's charge. Has done the business nicely so far, 4 from 4. Beat Bay City Roller last time out, but will have to improve. So I just thought 15 to 8 again at the prices, taking on Ombudsman with Delacroix in that contest. And I think one more selection for you tomorrow. Yeah, that's Almahit. Now, you're going to love this bit of footage here. We're going to the jumps. Warwick on this occasion. Wasn't even trained by Faye Bramley at the time. I like the look of this horse. Did it nicely here at Warwick, but just the form. A good second at the Punchestown Festival. A couple of nice wins on the flat at Newbury. I just think off a mark of 87, still more to come. Proven at the trip, that's not going to be a concern. Wayne Lorden takes the ride, which I think is interesting. And I just fancy Almahit to outrun the odds. Currently around a 12, 14 to 1 poke. I just thought in an each-way price, Almahit could be one to note in that race. I thought Santorini Star was also interesting. But this guy's on the upgrade. That's Almahit, who can hopefully go well for Faye Bramley and give her a big winner. So, Vintage Clarets, 150, Italy 225, Delacroix in the Jubbmont, and Almahit each way in that 410. So that's 4 selections, all run tomorrow. Got a couple more for you straight after this. Okay, next up is Royal Fixation, who runs in the 150. That, of course, is the Lowther, and representing Connection and Ed Walker, who won this race last year. Now, for me, the key bit of form that she's got here is her fine second to Venetian Sun. Let's pull it up. Here's Venetian Sun cruising in the bloom colours, but just keep an eye on the outside. Royal Fixation, just following through the Wafnan trained owned horse there. Just stayed on strongly in the closing stages. I was really impressed with the way this filly was able to really rattle home. And I just think maybe with that experience under her belt, Ed Walker knows how to train the winner of this race. Look at her, absolutely staying on strongly with Venetian Sun. It's an absolutely brilliant run, and maybe might have got up in another stride or two. I think there's a lot more to come. Buick's on board. I think there is an awful lot to like about Royal Fixation's chances in the Lowther, and she'd be one of the best bets of the week for me. I'm also looking forward to seeing, always a race I do enjoy, is the Gauchers. And this horse, Aolon, comes into this on the back of a nice win here at Newmarket. Not sure about the form. Beat Hot Flame, who had some decent enough form in the back catalogue, but opening the account. John Moran speaking afterwards seemed to think there's a lot more to come from this horse. Nice pedigree as well. Is a half-sister to Desert Hero. Haggis's runner again. I just think there could be more to come from this filly in the colours of His Majesty the King. That's an interesting race, though, the Gauchers. There's also some quite interesting horses that are taking her on. Carmonology for Carl Burt. They also run them on it. Rainbow's Edge and Alice Monet for Chris Hayes and Dermot World, while Butterfly Wings is the representative for Aidan O'Brien. It's easy to see her maybe getting involved, but I just thought Aolon, filly on the upgrade. There's a lot to like about her profile for me in that contest. So that's your selections. Yeah, just the 2 for Thursday. Royal Fixation and Aolon. 2 more to come. Next one is Zigata. Now, this is a horse I've been keeping an eye on. Was at Newmarket when this horse won earlier on this season and did it nice on that occasion under Holly Doyle. We're going to have a look back at that run. That was a nice performance. And just talk about some of her other forms since then. 7th at Ascot at the Royal Meeting. Didn't really go to plan for her in the Sandringham. Made headway in the closing stages. And then was 5th at Goodwood. I think you can mark that up. She was a real eye catcher. She was slowly away. She was switched in the closing stages and made up a lot of ground. So I think Zigata is definitely one to note in that contest. I think it's already chalked up as the 3-1 favourite, but it's pretty easy to see why, because that was a very, very good run. So Zigata makes appeal in that EBF Fillies handicap 410 on Friday. And it wouldn't be a preview of the Ebor Festival without a selection in the Ebor. Horse I like, I'd take a chance. Look, at the top of the betting, Hip Hop Dolois is a fascinating runner for Willie Mullins. Colin King jocked up. Ethical Diamond could be more to come based on the Royal Ascot win. James Dorr rides French Master, who's another to respect. And the horse who's been backed in recent days, London City for Aidan O'Brien, son of Justify, was 5th to Al Riffa last time out. I like a horse, though, at double figure odds, who's got the form in the book. And that is Ascending. Representing Connections, who won this last year. Henry de Bromhead trains. Good winner at a big price in the Ascot handicap last time out. Probably got to step up on the form. Only got a mark of 99, taking on the likes of Hip Hop Dolois, who's rated 106, and French Master off 90 for 108. They won the Cork Derby, had also won at Dundalk previously. I just think he's progressing on the flat again here. Is a 6-year-old, but maybe just an extreme trip as well will help this horse. And I thought Ascending at 16-1 was a definite each-way player. So Zigata in the 410 on York on Friday and Ascending in the 335 at York on Saturday. In terms of a best bet, well, I think there's a lot more to come from Royal Fixation in the Lowther, so she'd be towards the top of the shortlist for me. And I am looking forward to seeing Aolon I like that performance at Newmarket. William Haggas always does well with his fillies. Looking forward to seeing how that horse goes in the Gautrus. Anyway, that's all your action that's coming up. Remember, you can watch every race live from the Sky Bet Ebor Festival live on Racing TV. Thanks for your company. Hope you enjoy the action. And most importantly, I hope you find a few winners. Thanks again. We'll be back for another Formbook, probably for Irish Champions Festival at Leopardstown and the Curragh in September. But please remember to gamble responsibly.